CNN has learned that the Trump administration is claiming the power to designate drug traffickers as enemy combatants and have them killed without legal review, according to multiple sources. Those sources telling CNN that the Justice Department has produced a legal opinion that argues that the president is allowed to authorize deadly force against a secret list of cartels and suspected traffickers on the grounds that they pose an imminent threat to Americans. Now, to date, the US military has carried out at least 4 strikes on boats operating in the Caribbean, killing people that the Trump administration claims are affiliated with drug cartels. Let's get you more on this. CNN's Zachary Cohen is following this story for us from Washington. What more do we know about this memo and these sort of offshore policies, as it were?
Yeah, Becky, this appears to be another example of the Trump administration really pushing the legal bounds as it relates to the power of the presidency itself. And this is a classified memo, we're told, that was produced by the U.S. Justice Department. And it appears to argue that the president has the power to authorize lethal military strikes against a broad array of drug trafficking groups, suspected drug traffickers and cartels in the name of U.S. national security, claiming that these groups pose an imminent threat to the United States. Therefore, they can be labeled as enemy combatants, much in the way the U.S. has characterized terrorist groups in order to conduct similar strikes against them, and that all without due process, without arrest, without a trial, without prosecution. So this is really representing a big shift. One former defense attorney or Defense Department attorney told us that this memo appears to give the president the power to wage a war even more expansive than what was granted to the president after the 9/11 attacks here in the United States. So that just gives you some context into the potential scope of these military strikes and the power that it grants to the president.
We've heard a number of Latin American countries, Zach, condemning these attacks. I want you to take a listen to Stephen Miller and how he talked about Venezuela yesterday.
There's a $50 million bounty that has been placed on Maduro in connection to his indictment as a narco-terrorist drug trafficker, and he needs to be brought to justice for the crimes for which he was convicted in an American court. Venezuela is run by a drug cartel that is guilty of not only flooding our nation with TDA and other foreign terrorists, but of course helping to kill hundreds of thousands of Americans through deadly drugs.
In listening to that, I wonder, is the administration here gearing up for something bigger?
Yeah, Becky, it certainly appears so, and we've done a lot of reporting on the effort inside the administration to really lay this groundwork, as far as Venezuela goes specifically, to connect Nicolas Maduro to some of these drug cartels that the Trump administration has even publicly labeled as foreign terrorist organizations. We've obviously seen simultaneously this buildup of U.S. military forces in the Caribbean and resulting in these 4 lethal strikes. And, coupled with this Department of Justice legal opinion, that really does serve as the backbone for the broader strategy here and potentially goes beyond just Venezuela itself. We know from sources inside the administration and allies on Capitol Hill that there are many within the Trump administration who really do see this as an entire Western Hemisphere mission, one that they do intend to expand beyond Venezuela itself. But as we said, the efforts to label Nicolas Maduro as the, quote, illegitimate leader of Venezuela would suggest that the Trump administration doesn't feel the need to get his approval before potentially conducting strikes inside Venezuela itself. And we know that is something that the president has been considering for at least a few weeks now, and it's something that he suggested just the other day that might be coming. So this could extend to other countries, but Venezuela really seems to be the proving ground, at least, for both this legal theory that the Justice Department has put together, as well as the U.S. military strategy as it relates to the entire Western Hemisphere.
Zachary Cohen with your exclusive reporting here on CNN. Sir, it's good to have you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.